really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard. Which is what, seriously speaking, is all about.
Hi there. On the show today, we're going to tell you why Nigeria is one of the best destinations to go in the world. Have you ever thought about the fact that if you needed to go somewhere in Nigeria, there are options for you? Have you ever wondered, where are the places I can visit? Or have you ever even realized that Nigeria has options? Well, on the show today, I have people who are going to be talking about tourism in Nigeria. And when I take a short break, I expect you to come back with either a piece of paper to make sure you collect all their social media handles and learn as much as possible from the three people that will be talking tourism with me, seriously speaking, today. Yes, welcome back. I have a magazine in my hand that some people might find online, but I have it physically here. It's called ATQ, Africa Tourism. Anyway, when you talk tourism in Nigeria, and indeed the whole of Africa, there's one name that keeps popping up. People may not know his face, but the Travelers magazine is something that he does, and I call him the Grandmaster of Tourism. His name is Ikechi Uko. It's nice to have you on set.
Thank you.
This scarf around your neck, is it standard? Is it a Spanish tradition? Or, because, I mean, you've been all over the world, literally.
Yeah. I collect scarf, and it's part of my brand identity, a hat and a scarf. So I collect scarf from different countries in the world. So I have lots of it.
Tell me how tourism started. You tell me about riding the trains in the past, because your father was a signals engineer with the Nigerian Railway Corporation, and your wanderlust must have beaten you at that time.
Yeah, I think I picked it up from my dad. His job meant that he traveled a lot. We were born in different towns in Nigeria.
All your siblings? My
siblings. I was the one who was born during my mom's vacation in the East. so that I'm vacation. so
now I see.
Yeah, so we are born in different towns because the signal person moves around all the railway stations. So my dad was very, very itinerant. And though we're all based in one town, then he moves around. So he gave me a pass, a VIP pass, so I could walk into any train station, show my pass, and I got a first-class ride to anywhere I wanted to go.
Nigeria then and Nigeria now. So when you see things like railway networks that don't work or roads that don't work, what does it do to you as a person and as a practitioner?
First of all, now, I can't imagine doing a road trip. I can't, I think deeply, any road trip more than 1 or 2 hours, count me out in Nigeria. But then, I did Lagos. I attended all the major festivals in Nigeria. Arugungu, Ovio Sese, anywhere you did the festival, I'll turn up. And I went by road. And I have seen, and there were options. You do the road or you could do train. But today, you have to fly to anywhere. It is...
If the flights exist.
If they don't delay and cancel, you take that for granted. I live at airports. I travel every 2-3 days, so I know that experience. So now I have seen those things disappear. But I've also seen alternatives appear that make it
So it's
easy.
not so dismal?
It's actually worse. Traveling within Nigeria now is a lot more dangerous than it was when I started.
Okay, fortunately, I have some young women who are trying to break that kind of barrier. You say it excites you when you see that.
Yeah.
Before I take a break with you and introduce these other ladies, did any of your children get bitten by the wanderlust bug?
Every single one of them is a traveler.
Plus your wife, she understands this, you're hopping around.
Yeah, now she doesn't travel so much because when we travel, maybe she will travel with me once or twice a year. She's a lot more private than I am. And she says no next time. But I do 300 days a year out of home. So now she does, but all my kids...
So we're lucky to have you here on the set, actually.
Yeah, I had to cancel. I had to cancel Bayelsa to be here. I was supposed to be in Bayelsa today.
Okay. And they can travel. I'll take a break so I can introduce these two young ladies. And when we've talked about that, we shall examine the issue of helping Nigerians understand that even in Nigeria, there are options. And traveling is not a luxury. Would you agree with me?
It's not. It's a necessity. There's something called gap year, and that's the reason why the British rule the world.
So I'll take a break. Thank you, Mr. Uko, for spending the first few minutes with me, and thank you for staying tuned. I'll be right back if you don't go away with my other two guests before we begin to talk the nitty-gritty of tourism in Nigeria. It really gives me joy to introduce the guests who are joining us. These are millennials to the highest order. They are the only ones that will be brave enough to do what people like us wouldn't do. They're both under 30, and they're both taking Nigerians across Nigeria to see Nigeria the way they've never seen it before. My guest, Amaka.
Hello.
But everybody calls you social prefect.
Yes, everybody does now.
And then, of course, Miss Daniyan. Daniyan is what they called you while you were in school in the UK.
Yes, Miss Daniyan. I'm like, okay, hi, good morning.
And you are?
Unraveling Nigeria.
Unravel Nigeria, and this is social prefect. What does, I mean, social prefect invited me to a tour. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. They wanted to take me to Badagry.
Yes, we did.
But you owe me one.
I still owe you one, definitely.
And you know, so
Definitely.
for you, I mean, you said a trip to London changed that. You lived in London for 3 years.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So I had school there, but I never did anything touristy. And then I moved back to
Which is
Nigeria.
typical.
Yeah.
Just go there to go and school. And you
yes,
think it's
exactly.
expensive too.
I know, because I'm thinking, I have to get the bus, get the train. So, you know, it was just go to school, come back. That's what they sent you there for. Then I moved back to Nigeria after school, and then my youngest brother was graduating. So it was a family affair, you know. Then we traveled there for his graduation. And the brother in between us said, you guys, we have to do something touristy. We never went anywhere. Let's go to Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square. We're like, yeah, sure, okay. We planned it. We get to Buckingham Palace, and I see so many people. And I'm thinking...
It's always full, right?
Yes.
Queued, long all the way.
You can't even enter this palace. You're just here to take pictures in front of the gate. I'm thinking about the Oni of Ife's palace. I'm like, if I go there, I will enter.
Free.
They will drum, I will dance, you know. If I'm lucky, I will see the Oni himself. I just thought people are coming here to take pictures in front of a gate. Why aren't people coming to Nigeria? At least they will enter the palace, they will be welcomed. If they go to the north, they'll enter the Emir's palace. I started thinking, there's something to this, you know. Nigeria can do this. We can have tourism in Nigeria. So I went back home. I told my dad, you know, I told everyone in my family about it. And they just said, this isn't a today situation. You know, take 3-4 years. There's logistics. Because I was thinking big, bringing foreigners in. So everyone said, yes, good idea, but this isn't something that you will do today. You start working on it, and then you get there. So I told a friend too about this dream, and she says, why don't you just start small? Start a blog, document your own personal trips, see what the response is. That way, you know if people are going to be interested or not.
So for you, it was a function of wanting to show Nigeria to outsiders. And eventually, you started doing this.
Exactly.
And you started with your first visit to...
Yes. Lekki Conservation Center. That was the first
Very
one.
simple.
You know,
How much is it to enter Lekki Conservation Center?
1,000 naira.
And the 1,000
and then
walk.
the canopy walk came.
That's just 2K.
2K.
And how many hours?
Well, it depends
not so
on
long,
you.
actually.
Yeah.
So social prefect, why social prefect?
Okay, it started from work. I've always been really, really friendly, like very friendly. I make friends easily and
Work, you're
I'm
barely
good with
25.
people. Okay, so I graduated at 19. My birthday was graduation was June and my birthday was July. I was going to be 20.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically, like my life pretty much started from then. No, I always believe like my life started from when I was young. So more life started from... No, because everybody always says your life starts now when you've graduated or when you get married or when something big happens. But I mean, we've always been living. But basically, you know, real life, serious life started after graduation. And I started working after NYSC. I got a job at Jumia and basically I worked for 2 years. And in the middle, that's where my passion and love for discovering Nigeria came about.
How? What triggered it off?
I think since I was small, I've always been a waka waka. Like, I've been giving...
Mr. Uko.
Yes, I've been giving so many curfews. Like, I've been giving the 11 o'clock one, 7 p.m.
So where were you waka into? Not nightclubs?
Actually, no, not necessarily. Like, places around Nigeria. First of all, it started from... I think when I was younger, my mom used to take us out a lot. Like, we visited amusement park in Nigeria, or places within Nigeria. We visited amusement park so many times. We visited water parks in Okbebi, and so many
all
other
in this
places,
Lagos.
all in Lagos. And then my schools, the schools I went to had this excursion culture. So I remember we went to Olumorok. I went to Olumorok like twice before
graduating.
Exactly. I went to Badagry 3 times.
So why did you try to make it a business?
School. Why did I? Okay, so it was while I was working. I just started discovering places, and the first place I went to was, I think it was Olumorok again, but this time around, instead of just exactly,
not because teacher
with
said
an older eye. And apart from Olumorok, I also discovered that Abeokuta had some other nice places. There's this golf course. There's the zoo. The zoo is really big, and it can become like a safari because it has so much space, and you know, so many animals. Some are free range. Like, you could just be there and the donkey passes. So there were all these things. There was also the cultural center. Places I never knew that Abeokuta, I mean, when you hear Abeokuta, is that I went to the university also, the FUNAB, that's the University of Agriculture, Federal University of Agriculture. And it was a beautiful school. I'm like, okay, Abeokuta surprised me. And then also did Ibadan. I went for a wedding, but I said, I cannot live here without exploring.
So just exploring. And
yes.
what I hear both of you say is, even you just wanted to explore. You were not thinking about the obstacles to exploring. Yeah. But there were obstacles, I'm sure.
Definitely. Transportation. Information. There's a big vacuum of information. If I want to go to Idorin Hills now, I don't know how much it costs. You know, I don't know how to get there, which is the vacuum we're trying to fill with the website. So if information and logistics can be sorted out, I think everything else is smooth sailings from there.
I must take a break because I must have your grandfather join us. Your grandfather in this business join us on this conversation so that Nigerians will know what we need to do as individuals to move tourism forward in our country. I'll be right back with my guests if you don't go away. Yes, welcome back to the show. This time we're going to be giving nuggets straight up. I want each participant to tell me what are those things they think that will pave the way for better tourism appreciation by both government and you there who's watching. So I'll start off with the Grandmaster. You know, because you have an exhibition every year, and you've done it for 13 years straight. It's going to happen again this year. It means there's something in it.
I found out that the environment wasn't suitable for domestic tourism prior to now. So I switched my attention. 90% of my exhibitors are foreign exhibitors. So that's how I survived. And
now I know how you survived.
So I forgot about the local environment. So I'm happy these ones are here. But 6 years ago, I launched the 7 Wonders of Nigeria as a way of bringing attention to tourism in Nigeria because I was involved in the Wonders of the World search, the global wonders. So I tried to do something similar here. When we finished 2 years after, 7 of the destinations we chose, 4 of them now have a tourism resort.
Which ones?
We chose, Osun has a resort, Idonrena has one. What's it called?
These ones can, they can verify.
Ikogosi one is a natural wonder. We chose man-made wonders.
Oh, really?
Then we had 7 natural wonders. The biggest man-made excavation in the world is the Benin moat, and it was done by hand, no excavator.
I know, that's where I come from, I understand.
The largest freestanding structure in Africa is not the pyramid, it's actually the Kano walls. So one of the oldest civilizations in West Africa is found in Suko, in Adamawa. So these are the things.
Yes. I didn't know this.
The longest cable car point-to-point in the world is Obudu. So there are things in Nigeria we found out.
So what's the blockage to making that happen? You know, what are for your experience? To making it more accessible?
I think the government needs to create an enabling environment.
And define that.
The roads are bad. You know, there's this argument about who should fix the federal. Is it the federal government that fixes the road or the state that fixes the road? We need the roads to be fixed. Because if you're going to go on a road trip, you know, sometimes this is what discourages people. The roads are bad, it's going to take me 10 hours instead of 5 hours to get there. You know, things like that. Government really needs to sit up and, if they're serious about tourism, fix these little things. Electricity.
You guys did a camp now.
Yeah, that was super, actually.
There was no electricity.
There was no electricity, no data, no mobile phone coverage. You know, we did well, but after 24 hours, everyone was itching to come back. You know, so, but if you're going to put people up in a hotel, you can't have a hotel that doesn't have electricity. In Lagos, we're doing okay. But in little towns, you know.
What about social prefect? What do you think are those things that we need to do? Logistics, which is power and infrastructure, power and roads.
I think everybody needs to work together. Tourism is an ecosystem. The government,
so you guys work together.
the tour operators, the people also. are very important.
The people of the local people,
Nigerians need to buy Nigeria. It just
even if it is bad.
No, I mean, you need to start somewhere. You need to start somewhere. At least you need to start and go to the places that are okay and then move up from there.
Thank you very much for being on my show. I think my point has been made. There's a business in here. If you haven't started it, you better start it. And if you haven't patronized made in Nigeria tourism activities, you better do so and say you heard it here first. That has been Seriously Speaking. We'll see you again.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.